Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. I'm Wendy Handy, your host, and today we're going to be talking about chronic inflammation and the imbalance of omega-3 fatty acids to omega-6s and why that is such a problem and what it's doing to our bodies. So, did you know that your diet may be the hidden reason behind your chronic inflammation? So many people don't realize that the imbalance between omega-3s and omega-6s could be fueling that inflammation in their body and making them feel worse. And so today we're breaking down what you need to know to get these fats back in balance and fight inflammation naturally. So just to give you a little backstory. So when my husband was first diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and this is probably 3.5 years ago, the doctors kept looking at his labs and saying there's inflammation. And yeah, we kind of knew there was inflammation because there was inflammation in his brain. And yet they didn't really know a source, or they couldn't really pinpoint where it was coming from. And so what we found is he had inflammation all over his body. And after really tweaking the diet and really getting dialed into the getting into a clean, holistic, whole food diet with organic fruits and vegetables and grass-fed meats, we started to really notice a difference. We could actually almost even see the difference. And certainly we noticed the difference in his memory was getting clearer, and he was sleeping better, which was another huge, huge benefit for that. Realize how much diet and then also lifestyle really plays into inflammation and chronic inflammation in the system. And so what I'm hoping with this episode that you'll take away is that you'll have an understanding just how damaging the effects of chronic inflammation are on your system and your body overall, and why we're consuming way too many omega-6s, and more importantly, how you can adjust your diet to get those crucial fats back into balance, your omega-3s to your omega-6s. And so, the chronic inflammation happens when your immune system stays activated for very long periods of time, when there's nothing like an infection or an injury that it needs to heal. And instead, what it's doing of helping is that it's actually damaging your tissues. And it can show up in things like your heart. And so inflammation damages blood vessels. That leads to plaque buildup, which gives you a higher risk of heart attacks and strokes. Arthritis, which is very, very common in today's world, and especially as we age. Joint pain and joint damage is caused by that ongoing inflammation. Then your digestive disorders like chronic inflammation in your gut that can lead to your IBD, Crohn's, and ulcerative colitis. And then also, in my husband's case, the chronic inflammation is linked to brain disorders like Alzheimer's and dementia or cognitive decline. Also autoimmune diseases. When inflammation stays on, the body may start attacking its own healthy tissues. And this is seen in so many autoimmune diseases, which are really, unfortunately, on the rise today. And so, there's a lot of reasons and a lot of things that are contributing to this chronic inflammation. But a lot of it comes down to lifestyle and poor diet, very high stress levels, as well as lack of exercise. You throw in the environmental toxins. These are all contributing to chronic inflammation. And so many people don't realize that their everyday food choices can lead to that imbalance and that ongoing inflammatory state. And so, first of all, what are omega-3 and what are omega-6s? Well, omega-3s are anti-inflammatory fatty acids that support your brain health. They reduce inflammation and they improve your heart health. And they're found in foods like fatty fish, chia seeds, flax seeds. And then your omega-6s, they're necessary for, certain development of your brain, immune response, but too much of it can cause that inflammation. And then, of course, that imbalance is going to cause that inflammation. And so omega-6s are found in a lot of our vegetable oils, certainly the processed foods and the ultra processed foods, and certainly fast foods. And so the problem is when we're eating not enough of the omega-3s, but we're over dominating with the omega-6s, which is typical in the Western diet and our standard American diet or SAD diet, is that we tend to get that omega-6 overload. And it's due to that overconsumption of the processed and the ultra processed foods, the fried foods, the fast foods, the snacks, the baked goods. That all promotes inflammation throughout the body. And then the imbalance is a significant contributor to chronic health problems, including heart disease, joint issues, and all those autoimmune disorders that, I don't know about you, but I've been hearing they just are on the rise with younger and younger people as well. And so what is the ideal ratio for omega-3s to 6s? Well, most people, the ideal ratio is omega-3s to 6s is 3-to-1. Most people are consuming a ratio that's closer to 15-to-1. I think here in the US, I've seen studies that it's even above 20-to-1, favoring omega-6s. And so this imbalance is going to really lead to the inflammatory chemicals in the body, and that just leads to and increases your risk of chronic diseases. And when omega-3s are consumed in adequate amounts, it does help to counteract that inflammatory effect. But the challenge is we're eating way more omega-6s and not even close to enough omega-3s. And so some of the ways that you can help get this back in balance and reduce that inflammation are to focus on eating more foods that are rich in omega-3s. And so looking at your fatty fish, your salmon, mackerel, sardines, those are providing very high quality EPA and DHA, which are the most bioavailable forms of omega-3s. And then your flax seeds and your chia seeds, those are also rich in plant-based ALA, which converts to the EPA and DHA in the body, though it's less efficient. Walnuts are great for adding omega-3s to salads. You can have them as snacks. Grass-fed meats and eggs, they contain omega-3s. Just make sure that they are pasture raised. You know, that's going to give you over the grain-fed animals. And so try to incorporate these into your daily meals. Not going overboard, but for example, just adding chia seeds to maybe your morning smoothie, or, a healthy snack of just a walnut snack, or, making sure that you swap your grain-fed beef for grass-fed alternatives. And then at the same time you're increasing your omega-3s, you want to be reducing your omega-6s. And the omega-6s are found, like I said before, in your vegetable oils. So your corn, your soybean, your sunflower, cottonseed oils, they're all very, very high in omega-6s. And they're found in so many of the processed snacks. If you look at the labels on pretty much any snack or anything in a box, you'll see that they contain these things. Even if they are considered to be in some cases like gluten-free, people are shopping for gluten-free things, and yes, they're getting off gluten, and that's a really good thing. And yet, if you look at the ingredients, a lot of times they're high in omega-6. And of course your fried foods, but your processed foods, chips, cookies, anything that's prepackaged is going to be very high in omega-6s. And, just fast food in general, you pretty much want to stay away from that because it's all cooked in heavy oils. Check the ingredient labels for your vegetable oils and avoid products, that have these. Try swapping out your snacks for very whole food snacks like nuts and seeds. Choose whole meals over your, home cooked whole meals over any packaged options. The best way to do this is to really just learn to prep your own food, cook your own food. That way you know what you're getting, right? And then, making sure that you're using good, healthy cooking oils. So extra virgin olive oil, if you're using that in salads, and very low heat cooking because it does have a smoke point to it. It is rich in antioxidants and mono non-saturated avocado oil is great for high heat cooking, due to it's got a very high smoke point, and it is also anti-inflammatory. And then flaxseed oil, which is also high in omega-3s. You just don't want to heat that, but use it in your salad dressings or drizzle it over your food after cooking. And you can do that with olive oil as well. Just make sure you're getting a really good quality olive oil. And then if you want to supplement, make sure that you're getting some fish oil. Supplement, make sure that it's a very excellent source of EPA and DHA, and look for very high quality tested products that are free of heavy metals. That's really very huge. Some of your omega-3 fortified foods are, eggs, omega-3 enriched eggs. That is, choose the eggs that are specifically marked that they are enriched with omega-3 fat, for easy for ease of getting in that dietary boost. And then some of your fortified products, like your dairy products, will also be fortified with omega-3s. Just make sure you check the labels and make sure it's a good quality source. You also want to make sure that you're reducing your refined grains and sugars, and because they can increase inflammation, certainly sugars can, and they're often going to be found with your omega-6s anyway. So replace your refined carbohydrates with whole grains, and opt for natural sweeteners like fruit sweeteners, or even certain types of honey. Just kind of dial back too much of the honey. And then some of the lifestyle things that you can do to help support that balance are making sure that you get exercise. So regular physical exercise, we know, is shown to reduce inflammation, and it's also a good stress reducer. It'll help you sleep better. Make sure that you're getting some daily movement, like walking, doing some strength training, even yoga. That can help support your overall health, but that's also going to help balance that inflammation. And again, back to that stress management. Chronic stress can definitely raise inflammation in your body. And so incorporating things like meditation, deep breathing, even journaling, or just reading a book, that can help you manage your stress and support your inflammation control. And then you want to make sure that you are getting good quality 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Really aim for that 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Creating that bedtime routine when you wind down, turning off your electronics at least 1 hour prior to going to bed, making sure that your room is very dark. If you can't get it dark enough, consider an eye mask. I've been wearing one for 15 years. Make sure your room is cool. Ideally in the low 60s is the best for sleeping. And so these are all things that we can do that can help reduce that chronic inflammation and start to get the omega-3 and the omega-6s back in balance. Chronic inflammation is so very harmful, and it is so very prevalent, unfortunately, and it's causing this really out of whack balance of the omega-3s and the omega-6s. And so you really want to try to focus on your omega-3 rich foods, reducing the 6s, and just making very small dietary lifestyle changes. Start slow. Don't try to do everything at once, but start with one thing that you can do today, whether that's, eating at home more, getting some exercise, checking the labels. Just pick one and start with it, get that habit in, and the rest will fall into place. And so, just take a look at your diet, take a good evaluation of it, try incorporating these things. And if you need help, I would love to book a discovery call with you. It's 30 minutes. It's very easy to do. I'll leave the link in the show notes below to where you can link and we can chat a little bit more. It's free, so why not, right? And I hope this has been helpful. I would love it if you would subscribe and like the show and share it with anybody that you think might find some benefit in it, because like I said, we are chronically inflamed, and the faster that we get this under control, the better we're all going to feel. So thanks again for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Gut Fix. And in the meantime, stay happy and stay healthy.